Hey guys, it's Jam of jamonline.ph and welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna do a gaming review of one of the latest smartphones from Realme, the Realme 6. Yes, this is the Realme 6 and this is quite interesting because the smartphone runs on a Helio G90T processor na sobrang bago lang and sobrang powerful, I'm telling you guys. And then of course, pag-usapan na natin yung other specifications na makaka-apekto dito sa gameplay natin. So we got here the 6.5-inch Full HD Plus IPS display. We got here a 90 Hz refresh rate. Yes, we're gonna enable that dito all throughout sa paglalaro natin. Of course, meron din tayong 4,300 mAh of battery, and of course, meron din tayong 30 watts fast charging. So the variant that we got comes in 8 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of internal storage. Basically, this is the best one that you can get in the market. So, pag-usapan na natin yung mga games and i-review na natin kung ano ba ang performance nitong Realme 6. The first game that I wanted to show you guys is actually Real Racing 3. So, the Realme 6 has a 90 Hz display refresh rate. Yes, but unfortunately, we're still capped at running most games at 60 frames per second. Actually, do not know which games are actually capable of running 90 FPS on the Realme 6. But hopefully, game developers and Realme can optimize their games for the smartphone. But yeah, let's try out the Real Racing 3 and let's check if I'm right regarding dun sa sinabi ko. So, we're gonna run Real Racing 3 on the Realme 6. Both are real. So yan. Let's start game bench. So we're running the F1 car. So nakikita niyo marami tayong kalaban dito. So this will be a challenge. Marami tayong kalaban. So you can see here that the median FPS is 60. No problems at all. I mean, the game is out for a while now, and yes, it does have a pretty good graphics. Not the best one though, but still pretty good. But you can see here that the median FPS is running only at the maximum na 60 FPS, the median frames per second. And you can see the graph below. That's the real-time FPS. The real-time FPS is running pretty well. It's actually pretty straight lang, and there's only a few frame drops, and if meron man, it's not noticeable. Okay, so we're trying to be on the first place dito sa game, but I don't think we will be able to do that. Median FPS is still at 60, no frame drops at all. It's a pretty good experience, but again, 90 Hz refresh rate is okay. Makikita ko pa rin yung difference, mas smooth pa rin siya. And ang gusto ko sa kanya is maganda yung response ng display niya. Okay, so even finish at first. You can see here, the game ran pretty well. 60 median frames per second. No problems at all. So makikita nyo dito sa FPS natin sa baba, that is actually the graph. There's only a few frame drops. So no problems at all pag nilalaro natin to Real Racing 3. Now, time to proceed dun sa next game natin. Our next game is Call of Duty Mobile, one of the most popular games out there in the Play Store. So our graphic settings is set at high, maximum frame rates, and of course we've enabled everything that we can enable. We cannot choose the graphic quality at very high kasi nga bumababa yung frame rate to very high lang and walang max frame rate. So doon na lang tayo sa high with max frame rate. I'm pretty sure that the game can run really well dito sa Realme 6, considering that we got here a pretty powerful processor. It's a G90T processor. So yeah, let's try out Deathmatch, and ang favorite natin all this time, Knockdown. So, one of the big things na gusto ko dito sa G90T is that it's really, really powerful compared dun sa other chipsets ni Realme, the G80 and the G80 and the G70. We did have some problems in some games. Actually, sa Call of Duty Mobile sa Realme 6i, we cannot max it out. But dito sa Realme 6, it's the G90T. We were able to run the game at the high settings possible. Now, time to run Game Bench, and let's see if we can do really well dito sa Realme 6. We cannot run the game at 90 FPS. We're running the game at 60 frames per second as expected. Pero it's still smooth. The display is really responsive, and I really like when the game is really responsive pagdating sa touch. And wala akong nakikitang frame drops masyado dito. This one is actually pretty cool for gaming, okay? This one is really good for gaming. Okay, so what I like about it is that malaki rin yung display niya. It's full HD. Everything is quite good. The colors are fine. Okay. You can see here that we're still running at 60 million frames per second. Despite a lot of actions, despite a lot of bombs na tumama, doon tayo dun sa may smoke. And you can see here that the frames aren't actually dropping dito. Let's expand yung frames natin. It's actually pretty good pagdating sa FPS. Almost steady tayo at 60 frames. Bumababa man siya pero bumaba lang siya to 59 despite yung magandang graphics ng Call of Duty Mobile. We're about to finish the game but everything is still running really well. And yeah, I think we're in the victory. And end na natin si Game Bench. Just a few minutes lang ng game. 60 million frames per second, guys. On Call of Duty Mobile, high settings. We've enabled everything that we can enable. So yeah, everything is pretty good and it's running really well. Now, time to proceed to our next game. Our next game is PUBG Mobile. As you can see here, the game is one of the most demanding and pinaka-picky and choosy na game sa smartphones. So, surprisingly, the Realme 6 can run the game at a better settings because the smartphone can actually run the game at smooth graphics with extreme frame rates. Yes, you can enable that dito sa Realme 6 and actually we can actually run the game at HDR with ultra frame rates with shadows on and anti-aliasing on since this is the highest possible na pwede natin gawin dito sa Realme 6. Let's try out the game at HDR settings with ultra frame rates and also on yung anti-aliasing and shadows. I'm not expecting to run the game at 40 frames per second na smooth, but we're gonna max it out since this is a gaming smartphone. This is Helio G90T. So let's try out maglaro ng Everground dito. So this is Team Deathmatch. Let's start and let's see if we can run the game at a comfortable FPS. But if not, siguro doon na lang kayo sa smooth graphics with extreme frame rates because I'm pretty sure that the game can run at 60 frames per second. Now, time to run Game Bench. Surprisingly, the game is running really well. Okay, so this is G90T and it's running really well at HDR settings. Wow. Just wow. Look at that. Look at that. First 10 seconds pa lang, I'm already amazed in what we're getting dito sa Helio G90T. It's actually better than the Realme 6 Pro that I've just tested earlier. Okay, so we're currently winning the game and let's try out some other guns and oh wow, okay. So I'm looking at the FPS right now. The game is running at HDR settings. Again, HDR settings with ultra frame rates, with anti-aliasing, with shadows on. This is really good for a budget smartphone. Well, it's not budget, but for a smartphone with the specifications, it means that the G90T can handle most games without any problems. I'm really excited to try this one out pag naglaro na tayo ng Black Desert Mobile. Okay, so nasa ano na tayo? Nasa 2 minutes and 58 seconds and yet there are still no signs ng frame drops. And the good thing is that yes, the smartphone does get warm but meet na yun eh. Yung sinasabi nyo na MediaTek, it's really hot na talagang nag-overheat. No, I don't think ganto pa rin ngayon. This is actually pretty good. Maganda yung thermals niya, maganda yung frame rates niya. And if actually masama yung thermals niya, mapapansin nyo na bababa naman yung frame rates natin dito sa PUBG Mobile. So, magkakameron tayo ng throttling. And yet, wala nang throttling nangyayari. The FPS is pretty consistent. May konti lang frame drops as you can see up to 38. Di na yata bumaba ng 38. And yes, nanalo na tayo sa game. So that's 3 minutes and 30 seconds. We've been playing the game for a while. And nakita nyo naman na sobrang okay na experience natin dito. But if you want, I could use GFX tool just to, use the extreme frame rates with better graphics na quality. But expect that the smartphone will be hotter compared dun sa na-experience natin ngayon. Right now, it's just warm, but it's actually pretty fine. So yeah, this is a good sign that the Realme 6 is a good gaming smartphone. Unfortunately, again, ulitin ko, we got here 90Hz display refresh rate. Yes, better refresh rate sa ibang bagay. But in some games, you can max it out up to 90 frames per second. But still, maganda pa rin naman mas mabilis yung ating refresh rate. For our next game, it's the most demanding game that I know right now sa market. This is Black Desert Mobile. And as you can see here, we will run the game at the highest settings possible. Again, the G90T is pretty powerful, so we're running it at a higher setting. So, oras na ngayon para makita nyo ang game bench. So, we're gonna run game bench and let's see what will be the median FPS that we will get dito sa game na to. So right now, I'm pretty sure that we're not getting it at 30 frames per second. And yes, I am right. We're running the game at 28 FPS because there's a lot going on dito sa place na to. As you can see, there's a lot of effects that's going on. When close up, mas maraming objects na nakikita dito, mas maraming effects. But when you zoom out, yan, para mas okay naman yung FPS na nakukuha naman natin. So tumaas ng konti, it's around 31 to 32. Now, let's check out yan dito. So, habang kumukonti yung objects, nakikita nyo na may increase ng konti do sa frame rates. We can reach up to 33 frames per second. But when there's a lot of NPC, as you can see in this part, the FPS goes down up to 18. So, I am not surprised with that one. I mean, a lot of smartphones that we have reviewed before, that is running Black Desert Mobile, same experience tayo. But again, this is a mid-range smartphone. This is not the most powerful smartphone in the market right now. So the fact that we're still getting these FPS, the fact that we're still getting this frame rates, this one is pretty good. So yeah, nakikita nyo na medyo marami effects and you can see that there's a fluctuation on the FPS at the graph below. Because again, dahil yan sa mga environment, sa mga mobs and NPC. And as you can see here, dito nagkakameron tayo ng konting lag. This one is running at 15 FPS. This is actually parang opposite nung experience natin sa Realme 6 Pro. With the Realme 6 Pro, when we're inside the town, we have experienced a lot of frame drops. But dito, sa Realme 6, when we're outside, okay, so medyo naging okay na. But you can see that there's still some frame drops dito and the FPS is almost the same pagdating doon sa loob ng town and also dito. But the median frames per second stays at 28. So, try naman natin kumalaban dito ng mga kalaban. Let's see if there's a lot of frame drops na mangyayari dito. Let's see if we will experience a drastic frame drop when killing these gray foxes. Okay? So no, I don't think there's a lot of there's a drastic frame drop when we're on the battle right now. So nasa 23 to 24 median frames per second tayo, and you have to take note that the game is running at the maximum settings possible. So this is a good sign. A lot of flagship smartphones are actually still struggling with Black Desert Mobile. I still don't know why, but so far I really like what I'm experiencing dito sa G90T ni Realme 6. Actually, I'm pretty surprised that the game run pretty well earlier at PUBG Mobile. And with this one, medyo steady na tayo, 23 median frames per second. So, I can say na the FPS na nakukuha natin dito, around 23 to 24 pag highest settings. So, I highly suggest that if you're gonna play the game, be sure to turn down the settings to get a better frame rates so you can get a better experience. But in my case, habang pumapatay lang tayo dito ng mga mobs, nandito lang tayo sa mga easy lang na enemies and it's not a boss fight, it's not a dungeon, I'm pretty sure that the 23 FPS will do pretty well para sa inyo. But if you want, again, just turn down the settings para makakuha ka ng better FPS. And so far, yung thermals na nakuha natin dito sa Realme 6 is quite okay. It's not that hot. Wala pa tayong nakikitang throttling. Nakikita naman yung FPS natin sa baba. Nagkameron lang tayo ng problema. Nagkameron lang tayo ng fluctuation doon sa loob ng town because there's a lot of NPCs. There's a lot of objects. There's a lot of effects that is going on in the game. So yes, I guess that's it dito sa ating game bench ng Black Desert Mobile. Now, time to do our verdict for the Realme 6. Alright, so time to do the verdict for the Realme 6. So yes, the Realme 6 is quite interesting. It's a powerful processor, MediaTek G90T, sobrang okay niya. Unfortunately, we cannot run any games at 90 FPS yet. Hopefully, a software update could fix that or the game developers can do something about that. I'm not sure why may problema sa part na yon. But yeah, we've enabled, when we've run Real Racing 3 dito at 60 frames per second with 98% FPS stability, I believe dahil lang doon sa konting mistake na hindi ko siya na-off agad sa game bench, but I believe dapat nasa 100% siya kasi almost smooth naman yung paglalaro natin dito sa Realme 6. In Call of Duty Mobile, we've enabled the maximum settings na possible. Of course, very high lang tayo dun sa graphic settings para ma-max natin yung frame rate. And we got 60 FPS with 100% stability. And of course, sa PUBG Mobile, surprisingly, the Realme 6 can run the game at HDR graphic settings with extreme frame rates. We've also enabled the anti-aliasing and also shadow. So overall, it's a pretty good smartphone when it comes to gaming. We've actually tested it, and I'm surprised pa din na the game ran pretty well dito sa Realme 6. Imagine, we didn't use GFX tool and yet we've able to run the game at 40 FPS doon sa HDR settings and also sa Onyo anti-aliasing and shadows. Lastly, Black Desert Mobile, although medyo it's a high-end game, medyo flaky yung FPS natin dito. So, yung FPS natin is 23 median frames per second with 69% FPS stability. That is already expected, but the fact that the Realme 6 performed better sa PUBG Mobile kaysa sa Realme 6 Pro, that is actually surprising for me. We didn't use GFX tool, and yeah, the G90T proves that the smartphone is really powerful when it comes to gaming. So if you are a gamer, I'm pretty sure that you would love the Helio G90T processor or Helio G90T chipset nitong si Realme 6. So yeah, I guess that's it dito sa ating gaming review of the Realme 6. This is a quiet, powerful smartphone. I love the performance that we're getting in here. Na-surprise ako na ang lakas ni G90T. Mas maganda pa nga yung nakuha nating FPS sa Realme 6 pagdating doon sa PUBG Mobile because of the higher settings. But the thing is that the games aren't running on 90 FPS. But for me, it's fine. I mean, there's only a few smartphones and few games na nakakapagpatakbo ng mga games at more than 60 frames per second. But the fact that we're still getting here ay 90 Hz refresh rate, mas maganda pa rin yung quality, mas maganda pa rin yung response na nakikita ko dito. Lalo na pag fast-paced games, lalo sa FPS like PUBG Mobile, nakikita ko pa rin yung difference kahit na 60 FPS siya and yet nasa 90 Hz refresh rate tayo. But of course, 90 Hz refresh rate, mas maubos yung battery natin dito. So yeah, I guess that's it for our gaming review of the Realme 6. So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And of course, if hindi pa kayo nakapag-subscribe sa channel ko, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button along with that bell button to get notified of the latest videos here at the Jam Manchetta YouTube channel. So once again, I am Jam of jamonline.ph. Thank you for watching and see you guys again sa susunod na video.